This is another version of the double eagle symbol of Albania. So this is what the minibus looks like. They're all pretty much the same. This one has storage in the back. And this one's going to surround them. I'm guessing that we're probably about 2/3 of the way to Gjirokastra. We've made a pit stop here for how long I don't know. We're definitely in the mountains, but an interesting kind of mountains in the sense that they're not rugged, they're heavily worn. Okay, I'm at the intersection now, where my hostel is, the Kotoni Bed and Breakfast. It's in this lovely building here. And Vita, Victoria, and her husband run it. Her son-in-law and her daughter live in Minneapolis. He's American, she's Albanian. Tower on the castle, and then right in front of us, right over this building, almost dead center, you can't see it, but that's the old bazaar. And one wonders what that building would be up on top of that point, since it always must have been important. But that was the old section where the bazaars were going there right now. Okay, I'm down at the beginning, I think, of the actual bazaar, old bazaar at least. Those are some street signs there. That's going down towards, I think, the Ethnographic Museum. And this should be looking up into the area, so it will explode. Okay, now I'm standing at a 5-way intersection that will be the focal point of this area and of my travels. That road goes up to the castle there. And this is my new friend Timmy that I did. So this is a restaurant recommended by Kotoni. Remember, it's all about networking. And we have a little view of the clock tower on the castle. This is the name of one of the famous Albanian authors whose book I'm reading now, called Pyramid. This looks like an old and authentic building. I'll get a little bit closer detail on that chimney there. There's something about it that seems interestingly different. And in fact, I have found it. This is the outside of the house that I was just in. So they would have a spectacular view from that balcony. So this house was where Hoxha was born, the communist dictator. Whether any of these items were related to him, don't know. Chair was used for cooking as well as heat. These might have been like the devices I carried for kayaking trips. 2 packs, one in the front, one in the back, but slung on the shoulders. It looks very Arabian, doesn't it? Perfect for the entire family to watch television with. Oh. Various canes. Notice the men are much shorter than today. Let's take a closer look at the heads of these. Imagine the man or the men who used each of these. How familiar each one was to him. Its weight, its strength. Probably the headboard for a one-person bed. (1957). These devices, of course, are what a woman would make yarn out of from wool. She would carry this and then by hand and through her fingers take the glob of wool that would be somehow attached to the top and convert it, twist it with her fingers and hand into yarn. Canteens. Well, that's interesting. A bowl of something in the center and that ladle in which to pour it into the individual bowls. Let's see if I can get in close for the artwork. Yes, you can see that it looks down the stairway. And it may have been that this was a way that the women could observe who was entering without being seen themselves. Mortar and pestle. Probably a butter churn. Scale. These look like they're all carved from wood. Yes, they are. Imagine the bread that would have been laid out on that before it was used to shuffle the bread dough into this oven. Traditional men's gear. Looks like that was an upper story for some reason, even though it's rather shallow in height. A lovely door. And I think that design alluding to when they would actually be able to see through that design. You can well imagine the family of men meeting in here. Whether they lounged or just sat, I don't know. A lovely ceiling. Now here, interestingly, is a bird. I didn't think they used animals or depicted animals. Nice carving. This perhaps held some kind of food that could be brought in there, carried with those handles. Unless it was just a heater. Shoes are funky. I wonder what the pragmatic value of that design was. Still another such area. Here's a ceramic version of that, and a very lovely room. If it was used for sitting, I don't know, but with lots of light and ventilation. And I wonder what the grill work was for, whether air moved through it from other parts of the house. And here's just some large containers, or morphi, if that's what they're called, usually for holding grains, but who knows what. This looks like it's metal, maybe a still of some sort. Here's some armament. That's the lower city down below, of course, duh. And the old town up where I am. Hopefully I'll have no reason to go down there until I take the bus out. And apparently I have to go back to Tehran. I can't go to Pogadek and that way.